In today's show, much like many of you out there, the Trailblazers had a busy holiday weekend, a win over the Kings on Friday, and then a crunch time loss to the Mavs on Sunday evening. We'll talk about both those games. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. Thanks for making the show your first listen, coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Make it your first listen. Tell your friends to do the same. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. In today's show, we're talking about two games over a busy holiday weekend. For my American listeners, hope you enjoyed a little bit of time off doing whatever you might be doing on the Thanksgiving holiday. To everybody else, America we had a food holiday this week, and most of us got some time off work. Many of us, I should say, got some time off work. With the Blazers, they were at work. Friday evening, they played the Kings. Sunday, they played the Mavs. A win over Sacramento. I thought they played really well. Some really strong individual performances on Friday evening. They beat the snot out of a Kings team that is scuffling. And what do you do when you meet a scuffling team? You just wax them. And the Blazers really did that on Friday night. And then Sunday they came back. Luka Doncic and some of the Mavs available, and a game that came down to the final 2 minutes, the final minute even. It was kind of a wild one Sunday. We'll get into both those games, recap both of them. Talk about crunch time in the Dallas game and some thoughts on sort of the Blazers, who are, I would say, generally speaking, finding their rhythm. We'll talk about that and including a wild Anthony Simons third quarter against Dallas to close the show. Let's do what we do, though, first. We're going to do our fastest recap in the West for both games. We'll go quick through both of them, and then we'll stretch it out a little longer later in the show. But here's everything you need to know in case you missed them. On Friday night, the Blazers beat the Sacramento Kings 115-106. Kings led 30-25 after one. Domantas Sabonis had 14 points, and the Kings, who had snapped a 5-game losing streak and had beaten the T-Wolves and were looking to sort of get back and to be one of those competitive teams in a crowded Western Conference. They meet the Blazers in a cup game, and the cup games just mean more, and by that, I mean the court is unique. I've watched a bunch of cup games now. I don't love the Blazers court, but boy, is it better than some alternatives. I think it's cool. It's just a little too busy for me. It's too busy. The other ones are just straight up heinous, though. So the Blazers is just a little too graphically busy for me, but I think it looks cool up close. A little bit weird to watch on TV. Blazers, though, after giving up 30 points in the first quarter, locked the Kings down. The Kings just, they could not get anything going in the second quarter, and the Blazers take a 54-50 lead into the break. Sacramento just 20 points in the second quarter, but the game really shifted in the third when the Blazers outscored the Kings 33-22 behind Deni Avdija's 11 points and 5 boards to build a 87-72 lead heading into the fourth, and the Kings did not cut it to single digits until the final freaking buzzer when Malik Monk hit a three-pointer with like 4 seconds left to make it 115-106. That's your fastest recap in the West. I think this might have been the best DeAndre Ayton game of the season. Sometimes it's just like, I feel like this is recency bias. But I do think he played about as well as he's played at any point all season against Sacramento. I think this was just a straight up really good DeAndre Ayton game. They don't win that one without his 26 points, 9 boards, 2 dimes, a steal, and a block. Deni Avdija continues to play well. He had 20 in that game, and the Blazers got 21 from Simons. Avdija has 11 in the third quarter. Simons has 12 in the fourth. They closed the door. DA was really solid throughout. 14 in the first half, 12 in the second half. He just was consistent and played the way you needed him to. And I don't think this game was that close. Like, I know it ended up being single digits, but I don't think it was that close. It doesn't seem like the Blazers were too interested in running the score up for the sake of the cup. They're going to need to win their game by a whole bunch of points on Tuesday in LA against a stingy Clippers defense to have a shot at it. But I think they're probably out of it by virtue of only winning this game by 9 points. They kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit. it's like, I don't know, is chasing an in-season cup title a tiebreaker really worth it? I don't know, but but I do think they're probably out of it because of that. That was Friday night. Friday night was a really solid game. Talk a little bit more about that later in the show. Let's talk Sunday evening though. Blazers come back. They have Saturday off. They get to watch a bunch of fun college football games. They all gathered together to watch Ohio State blow it in hilarious fashion. They watched cajillion overtimes of Georgia and Georgia Tech. Actually, that might have happened on Friday night. They were at work. In any case, they come back Sunday, and the Mavs had played on Saturday night in Salt Lake City. So they were on a second night of the back-to-back after beating the Jazz, and they hold a bunch of their dudes out. Derek Lively doesn't play. Klay Thompson doesn't play. Kyrie Irving doesn't play. Najee Marshall's still out. So this is a short-handed Mavs team, but they're getting Luka Doncic back. Luka has missed the prior 5 games with an injury. He's back in the lineup, and he's one of the best players in the world. So it's going to be challenging. Luka and friends, pretty much regardless of who the friends are, is going to be a challenging one. But the Mavs are short-handed. This is a game against a short-handed Dallas team, no doubt. It's just one of those shorthands happens to be I don't know, what's Luka like at worst, like the 5th best player in the world or something like that? Like, he's tough. Blazers lead 29-25 after 1. They had 8 turnovers in the first quarter. I think they shot it really well, but if they don't turn the ball over so much in the third quarter, they're up by a whole bunch more than just 4. Early second quarter, Anthony Simons picks up his 4th foul. About 9 minutes before halftime, he has to go to the bench with 4 fouls. Yikes. And this would come back up later. Blazers play the Mavs tough, but they come back in the second quarter because everyone in the gym is making shots. 58-61 at the break. Blazers down 3. And it stays that way. Mavs had a 3-point lead after 3. They score another 39 points in the third quarter, and they lead 100-97 heading into the fourth. And the game gets interesting, right? Both teams drop 39 piece in the third quarter. Everybody is scoring. Both teams are shooting really well. This one is going to get close. In that third, though, Anthony Simons went bonkers, right? The Blazers are down 3, but he went bonkers. He had 24 on 8 of 9 shooting, hit 5 of 6 threes, hit his first 8 shots. And then in the final seconds of the third quarter, Anthony Simons commits a foul on a driving Spencer Dinwiddie. He now has 5. All right, well, but played out. He goes to the bench. Blazers immediately give away the lead. Anthony Simons had been incredible in third quarter, more on that and later in the show. He goes to the bench. They immediately give up the lead. It's the Mavs. They're building they're pushing towards a double-digit lead. They got to get Anthony Simons back in the game. They bring him back in the game at the 8:15 mark when 8:14 mark when Dwight Powell is shooting free throws. Dwight makes the first. They sub in Simons. Dwight Powell misses the second. As he goes, the ball bounces out to the left wing. Anthony Simons, who's just checked in, goes to chase down a loose ball, but Dwight Powell beats him to it. And Anthony Simons just basically runs his face into Dwight Powell's elbow. He's just hustling. It's just a hustle play. He's been on the court for 2 seconds. See ya. 6 fouls out of the game. Barely participated in the fourth quarter. Barely played in the first half because of foul trouble. Didn't play the final 9 minutes of the half because of foul trouble. Did not play at all basically in the fourth quarter. Had 24 points in the third to keep this game in it. So without Anthony Simons, the Blazers do come back. They make a push. And I think the final 225 are worth getting into here. This is your slowest recap in the West. First of all, the Blazers have a chance. They've got a chance. Deni Avdija, they're getting Deni Avdija onto Spencer Dinwiddie and attacking Spencer Dinwiddie. Say, Spence, you've been good in this game, but I bet you cannot guard someone as physical and as deliberate getting to the rim and as good at using his shoulder and his arm to get himself space when he does those. When he stops on a dime, he's strong and he's good at it. You're not going to be able to stay with Deni Avdija, and he doesn't. And Deni Avdija makes a shot that's going to go in and give the Blazers a 1-point lead. But Toumani Camara comes crashing in and dunks home the miss. Except the ball didn't He didn't miss. It was still in the rim. It was very clear goaltending. And instead of a 1-point lead, the Blazers are still down 1. They give up a bucket immediately on the other end. And then again, Deni, drive, foul, and 1. Tie game, minute 54. You've got a tie game, minute 54. Anferno Simons went nuts in the third quarter, has fouled out. They're playing with this mostly a small ball units. They're spreading this team out. Luka Doncic has been going nuts, but this is the Blazers have a chance under 2 minutes against a good Dallas team, even a shorthanded, a good Dallas. The Mavericks are one of the good teams this year. I believe that wholeheartedly, even if their record doesn't suggest that they're one of the truly excellent teams, just 12-8 coming into the game. The numbers, their offense and defense are both really good. They're good. They're good. I'm convinced. Luka Doncic misses a step back. The ball, long rebound. Shaedon Sharpe chases it down. The clock ticking under a minute 30 now. Chases it down. Luka's stepping in like he might get to it. Shaedon Sharpe sees that Luka might get to it, and he just slaps the ball into the front court. He just says, okay, let's get it out of there. Jeremy Grant chases it down, dives on it. Blazers call a timeout. It is a tie game. They have the ball under a minute 30 left, and they're going to get an ATO, an after timeout play, to run and get a chance to take the lead here and give themselves, put themselves in the driver's seat, or like whatever euphemism you'd like to use there. They run an option play for Jeremy Grant to run some handoffs if he wants, and he chooses not to and gets himself a clear out isolation on the wing. It was very clear that there were two separate options that Jeremy Grant could have passed to. Jeremy Grant doesn't like to pass. If you give Jeremy Grant an option to pass it or shoot it, you know what number he's going to call. He calls his own. He says, number 9, baby. He drives baseline, misses a reverse. Mavs go down. And Luka Doncic finds PJ Washington in the corner. He pump fakes, gets a flyby, shoots a corner 3 after the flyby. Cash. Mavs up 3. But Blazers do what they do. They say, actually, the way we've been scoring in these final 2 minutes is Deni drives. So they give it back to Deni again, gets himself to the paint, physical, bumps Spencer Dinwiddie off of him, and scores at the cup. It's a 1-point game with under 50 seconds left. He scores with 49 and a half seconds left. Stop, score, you're going to win the game. They come down and they call an offensive foul on Spencer Dinwiddie. Actually, I'm running a little long. Let's talk more about what happens at this point. 50 seconds left, 45 seconds left. Spencer Dinwiddie called for an offensive foul. The Blazers are going to get the ball back down 1. Or are they? Join me in that second segment, and we'll talk all about it. Plus, Anferno Simons' monster third quarter and what it all means. Join me there, won't ya? First, though, I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Listen, it's the cozy season. It's cold. It's dark early here in Portland, and you might find a little bit of comfort maybe wrapping yourself in a blanket with a mug of hot chocolate, watching one of your favorite movies with your family. Maybe you think that's the best way to spend the month of December. Well, therapy is also a great way to bring yourself some comfort, and comfort that will stay with you even as the season changes. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and then you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. You do not need to be dealing with a major traumatic event to benefit from therapy. Just everyday life can be challenging to navigate, can be a place where you need to find comfort, and talking to a therapist regularly, a neutral third party, can help you find that exact comfort. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Deni Avdija's cut the lead to 1. This is your slowest recap in the West. Rarely have we gone into the second segment to do these recaps. Deni Avdija's cut the lead to 1. Spencer Dinwiddie comes down the court. He shoves Deni Avdija with his right hand to push him off him because Deni's playing tough physical defense. They call an offensive foul. Blazers are going to get the ball back. The gym is rocking. Here we go. They're going to challenge it. And they get the challenge right. They go to the monitor, and Deni Avdija kind of hooked Spencer Dinwiddie a couple steps before Spencer Dinwiddie forearm shivered him with his right hands. That's the right call. It is so boring to have a game, the biggest call of the game be a review. You want them to get it right. I got no beef with it, but I did feel like it took some of the air out of the building. It was a little bit anticlimactic. Instead, it's a foul. Mavs are in the bonus. Instead of a 1-point game with the Blazers getting the ball back, but Dinwiddie's going to the line. He hits 2 free throws. It's a 3-point game. The Blazers are going to get the ball back with 42 seconds left, and they need a 3. They need 3 points. They don't necessarily need to take a 3 right away. They've shot it incredibly well in this game, but they need 3 points to tie it up. They can play the foul game. They can try. There's a couple different ways to go about it. They get it to Shaedon Sharpe, who kind of got going late third and into the fourth quarter. He tries to split a double team by going behind his back. He can't split the double team. He can't get back to the ball after he throws it behind his back. Quentin Grimes comes away with a loose ball. They go the other way. Spencer Dinwiddie's like, hey, slow up. Don't do it. Like dribble out the clock a little bit, but Quentin Grimes can't help himself. He sees Dan Gafford under the rim and says, Daniel, dunk this bad boy. Gafford dunks it with 29 seconds left. Mavs go up by 5. You got to play the foul game. At that point, down 5 with 30 seconds left. You're going to need help. You're going to need to make shots, and you're going to need the other team to miss free throws. Blazers don't. Mavs don't. That's your ball game. Blazers lose 137, 131. That's your slowest recap in the West. What a freaking game. I want to talk about both these games a little bit before we get into kind of my general thoughts about where the Blazers are 21 games into the season, and we'll do more of that on tomorrow's show as well. But again, I thought the Blazers played excellent on Friday. Again, the Kings are a lot worse than the Mavs. The Mavs are in another tier above the Kings, right? Maybe even 2 tiers above the Kings. But when a team is scuffling and you just beat the snot out of them through 3 quarters, then that's that is the mark of a team that kind of knows how to, if you could take advantage of a team not playing well, it's a sign that you might have a little bit of stuff. And what I really liked about the Blazers game against the Kings is that they shot terribly and won easily, and that has not been a formula for the Blazers this season. Blazers were 11 of 37 from 3 on Friday night. 11 of 37 from 3 on Friday night. That's 29%. If you round up, it's 30%. We'll give them it's 29.7. We'll give them a clean 30%. You shoot 30% from 3, and you're the Portland freaking Trailblazers, you're probably going to lose. They're a team that's designed to play enough defense to give themselves an opportunity and hit some shots, and they'll win the game. They don't make shots. The Kings, who aren't a prolific 3-point shooting team or have not been a good 3-point shooting team, win the 3-point battle. They take 42 threes above their season average. They make 15 of them. So if you're scoring at home, the Kings are plus 12 at the 3-point stripe. That's usually a formula for the Blazers to lose. The other team hits 4 more threes than them, they're probably going to lose. Blazers dominated the paint, 64-34, dominated the paint. Blazers are a paint-heavy team, right? They get to the rim a bunch. They just don't score when they get there. One of the worst finishing teams in the league, but in terms of frequency of shots at the rim, they're among the league leaders. And last I checked, number 1. That is according to Clean the Glass. They win the game in a way they don't often. They dominated inside. I thought Deni was really good getting to the rim. I thought DeAndre Ayton played his best game of the year probably. And you win that game, and then you turn around on Sunday, and you could not have played a more different game than that. The Blazers were 18 of 31 from 3, 58%, and lost. 18 made threes. 15 of 18 at the stripe, at the free throw line. So they didn't get there a ton, but they made their free throws. They shot about the same on 2s, a smidge better than 58% on 2s. So it's they made damn near 60% of their shots. The difference was they had 21 turnovers, 8 in that first quarter, and they kind of settled down a little bit, only 13 in the final 3 quarters, but 8 in that first quarter. I think they could have had a bigger lead, but the Blazers this year, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they won't lose another game all season long when they make 18 threes. They won't. This is a game this team doesn't lose. They just couldn't hang. They couldn't hang. Luka Doncic is just really good. He had 36.7 boards and 13 assists. And they tried a lot of different stuff on him. He was hunting Anthony Simons a bunch in the first quarter. Bring me number 1. And then late in the game, he was hunting Shaedon Sharpe. He said, anyone in the Blazers backcourt can get it. Even Delano Banton a little bit when he was in the game, he was picking his spots. I don't want one of the wings. Get Tumani off me on a switch. Don't have it be Deni. The Blazers went small, so it wasn't a ton of DeAndre Ayton, but he was in, the DA played a fairly normal amount, 31 minutes, but late in the game, they went small. When it was Jabari Walker, Luka tried to go at Jabari Walker, not to great success in my mind. I haven't looked at the tracking data, which I don't really care. I don't care for. I think it's kind of nonsense, but just to my eyeballs, I don't think he tried Jabari and couldn't make it happen against him. But he's hunting the guards, and the Blazers either double teamed him and they got shots out of the double team. The Mavs made 18 of 36 threes. They had 8 fewer turnovers. That's your difference in the game. 21 turnovers for the Blazers, 13 for the Mavs. League average is right around 13. Mavs turn the ball over about a league average amount. Blazers turn the ball over way too much, 21, and that's your game. That's your 8 turnovers in your first quarter. That's the difference. I also thought the difference was that the Blazers were missing a little bit, and I don't think this was a big deal because Deni just took over in the fourth quarter. He just said, Spencer Dinwiddie cannot guard me. I'm going to take him to the rack. This was a matchup that the Kings wanted. The Mavericks wanted. This is okay, where can we hide Spencer? That's okay. This is a good place to do it. Or if he wasn't on him, Deni would get him on a switch. But a lot of times it was the initial look. Or they'd run a quick screen action to get him the look that he wanted. And he'd attack and take advantage of it, and it was money for him. But in the third quarter, because Anthony Simons was so freaking good, the Blazers finally got to take advantage of what makes Ant special. So Ant hits his first 8 shots, and a lot of this is just heater Ant, right? This is the Anferno stuff, where he goes bonkers. In that quarter, he finished with 3 assists and 8 made field goals. The Blazers made 15 shots in the quarter. He scored or assisted in 11 of their 15 points. Again, both teams 39-39. Neither team could stop the other team. The other team has freaking Luka Doncic. They had nothing for him. But Ant was right there with them, right? Ant's right there with them. He was exceptional in that quarter. And not only does he hit 8 shots and have 3 assists, so he is directly responsible for 11 of the 13. He's indirectly responsible for 2 others, because on another one, he got the double team, got it out to Jabari Walker. Jabari Walker says, one more pass when you're in a 4-on-3 situation, take advantage. He finds Tumani Camara, cash from 3. That's immediately a direct response of the double team, the attention that Anthony Simons is getting. Then on a prior possession, again, a double team on Anthony Simons because he's made 8 consecutive shots, maybe 6 consecutive shots at this point. Finds DeAndre Ayton in the middle of the floor. Again, a 4-on-3 situation. Shaedon Sharpe cuts from the wing. DA makes a nice pass, dunks it. Shaedon Sharpe dunks it. That easy money, but again, that comes off of the attention that Anthony Simons gets. They didn't really have that late in the game, and I think in the final 2 minutes, when it was really crunch time, that didn't matter because Deni was cooking. But there was a middle part of that quarter when I think the Blazers were just not getting the action that they necessarily wanted to, and obviously, Anthony Simons is. I think a couple things on Simons here. I don't believe in foul trouble. So, him getting 3 fouls and Chauncey Billups leaving him in the game, that's good coaching. I like that. There's no such thing as foul trouble. The responsibility of Anthony Simons is to get the hell out of the way. His 4th foul is a transition hit ahead to Daniel Gafford, and Simons just got caught in no man's land. He has to just olay that. You have to let that go. You have 10, he doesn't have any points then. He struggled in the first half. He's 1 of 2 from the field. But it's you have to keep yourself in the game. That's your responsibility. That is not on the coach, right? That is your responsibility as knowing what you mean to the team. That wasn't he had a foul on Luka Doncic where Simons was really physical and handsy and put 2 hands on him, right? And it gets called for foul. And you want that, right? You want him to be competitive on defense. The one on Gafford, his 4th foul, just get the hell out of the way. Move, dude. Do not get caught on a leak out dunk that's going to give him points. And if you do foul him, definitely don't give up the end one. And Ant knew it right away. He made this he was really upset with himself with the 4th foul. And then the 5th one is Dinwiddie being physical on the drive at the end of the third quarter. Again, you have to olay him. Even if he's going to be physical into your body, you cannot use your hands. You cannot get caught bodying him up on a drive. You just have to let him freaking score. You have 24 points in the third quarter. You are going bonkers. You are on a heater that few dudes in the league can get on. Get out of the way. Don't play defense. You're not a good defensive player anyways. And then the sixth foul is unlucky. It's just unlucky. He's an instinct foul, right? He ran to the ball to go get it, ran into someone's elbow with his face. It's the right call. Unfortunate. It's a bummer. Let's talk a little more about Ant and Deni and DA and the Blazers kind of finding something in the final segment. Join me there, won't ya? First, though, let's talk BetterHelp. America's #1 sportsbook and an official sports betting partner of the NFL, where you can tackle all your NFL action, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets in the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com. You can join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond. You are still listening to Locked On Blazers. I don't think the two games, Friday and Sunday, could have been much different. Truly a bizarre game on Sunday. Incredible shot making. The Mavs score 36, 39, 37 in the final three quarters. Like I said, the Blazers probably needed a better lead, but Portland scores 131 and loses. The Blazers score 131 and lose. The Mavs couldn't slow them down. They certainly couldn't slow them down with when Anthony Simons was on a heater in the third quarter. And then, they scored another 34 in the fourth. And part of it was Shaedon Sharpe got going. Deni got going. You got, when you needed this team to score, they found a way to do it. Deni had 14 in the fourth. Shaedon Sharpe 7 on 3 of 5. Tumani hit 2 threes in the fourth quarter. Like, I feel like these two games were polar opposites. Friday night, you can't shoot. You just live in the paint and win. Sunday nights, you make every three-pointer alive, and because you make every three-pointer alive, the paint is wide open for you to drive. And some of it was just like Simons going nuts. If he's 5 of 5 from 3 in the third quarter, right? But again, like, you get contributions up and down. Obviously, like, Tumani makes 5 threes in this game. 5 threes on Sunday nights. Deni Avdija made 2, including 1 off the dribble. Jeremy Grant had multiple threes. Shaedon Sharpe hit 2 threes after starting a little bit slow. Ryan Rupert came in a very brief cameo, hit a high-arcing 3 from the right wing. 18 of 31, that's not even that many. Like, 31's probably not even enough. They probably need to shoot more threes in the modern NBA, and they made 18 and they lose. But I don't feel bad about this loss at all. I came away from Sunday's game feeling like Blazers played pretty hard. A little sloppy to begin the game, but they played pretty hard. This wasn't a game where there's just like the offense was laying bricks and you're like, well, that's in. Sometimes it's going to be like that. Like, that wasn't this at all. I don't think their defense had a good response to what Luka was doing, but also the Mavs shot incredibly well. And who has a good response to Luka? I think the play of the game in this one was the Tumani goaltend with 2:23 left. Would have put the Blazers, if he just lets the ball go, Blazers go up by 1, and it kind of changes the tenor of what's going to happen down the stretch, because now all of a sudden the Blazers at least, briefly have a lead, and they don't have to, and they're not playing catch up, immediately give up a bucket, and you're saying, okay, like, even if say everything goes the same way and Grimes scores immediately after that goaltend, you're still trading 1-point leads, chance to go back and forth. Like, it really changes the tenor of the game. I think Tumani got a little hyped up. Him and Luka had a bucket on Tumani where he, two was all up in his grill, and Luka, Luka is a pro whiner, man. He's complaining nonstop, but he's also giving you buckets at the same time, and then to stop to whine a little bit, but then he'll give you some buckets, and then he makes some shots that, like, not that many people in the world can even think of attempting, and he's swishing them off of 1 foot, flat-footed, and then he's telling you about it, and then he's complaining to the ref about it on his way down the court. Like, he's my man's multitasking, but he scores, body, spin, fade, and then he's just yelling at Tumani. Yeah. Probably some bad words too, but I'm not going to say them on the show. Then Tumani nails a corner three, and he pantomimes a handgun shooting at Luka Doncic. I think the NBA specifically says that's a tech. Nobody saw it, no tech. But like he was hyped up, right? Like it's there's some juice there. And then so Tumani, when he saw a potential chance to dunk home a missed shot over Luka, which what it was, he like climbed up Luka's back to goaltend that shot. Like he was hyped. He just got a little too much juice, a little too much. Like it's like Luka talked so much smack to him that he forgot the rules. And also he just really wanted to cram on Luka, because who couldn't play against Luka Doncic and be like, if I have a chance to dunk on this Slovenian young man, I am going to dunk harder than anyone's ever dunked, and I hope he is near me and feels my wrath. But I think that was the play of the game for me. That was like the big moments. Obviously the challenge was pivotal, but I think they got it right. It was annoying and anticlimactic, but I think they got it right. But here's where I'm at with the Blazers. And I want to talk about this more in tomorrow's show. I think they're kind of getting a lot out of their guys right now. Like, they lost a game against a good basketball team because they just couldn't score $140. They needed one more stop and one more score. And like Jeremy Grant missed a tough driving layup, right? That was kind of it. It's like you missed a tough driving layup. PJ Washington hits a three because Luka Doncic can create open shots for guys because of the attention he demands. And just like the difference in shot quality, one is a tough driving reverse, the other is a catch and shoot corner three. And that's kind of, then you're playing catch up. And even then, like Deni Avdija almost brought him back with all the tough drives and his ability just to get into the paint and be excellent. I think Deni is playing his best basketball of the season. I think DeAndre Ayton is playing has put together a string of games playing his best basketball of the season. He struggled to begin the year, so the bar's relatively low, but I thought he was freaking great on Friday night. So like even if the bar was high, he was freaking great on Friday night. Like I thought he had a really, really, really strong game. Anthony Simons has, he's talk about a low bar, boy, to begin the season. But he's finding it on offense, right? Like he's had those moments. He's had those streaky heater moments. Like Simons is imperfect and all of those things, but like the thing that he does that makes him special is get hot in a hurry and give the Blazers offense a unique feel, because it's like this dude can score from anywhere. He demands our attention. He's had a couple quarters in this week where he's playing well. You're getting good DA minutes. You're getting good Ant minutes. You're getting good Deni minutes. Those are all guys who were not playing that well at the beginning of the year. Delano Banton continues to be really special. I didn't even mention him, but he had 17 against the Kings. He's I'll talk about a bunch about him more in tomorrow's show, but it's like Banton just like he's kind of finds how he works here. The deep bench, Rupert, Chris Murray, the Jabari Walker, I don't think those guys have really figured it out, but the Blazers have I think they have 7 dudes. You can kind of say like these guys have found a little bit of a groove with Jeremy Grant, Tumani Kamara, Deni Avdija, Anthony Simons. Shaedon Sharpe's been up and down a little bit, but I thought he was pretty darn good in the third and fourth quarter against the Mavs. With those guys and Banton off the bench, I think they'll still lose some games because they're flawed and there's a lack of talent and there's not like this crazy depth and they're beat up a little bit at the center spots. But like, I think early in the season, they weathered some bumpy roads and they found themselves in a pretty good spot in terms of getting production from this team. There's going to be shortcomings. There's going to be tough nights. There's going to be all of those things. I think the Clippers on Tuesday is a tough game. It's a very good defensive team. It's I'm not trying to sell you on the Blazers like way, way overachieving, but I just like, to me, it's a pretty enjoyable 8-13 squad. Like I don't really have many nits to pick on this team. I think they have some obvious shortcomings, and I think their offense isn't great often and their defense is not elite, but like, as far as 8-13 teams go, as far as December 1st assessments go, you listen to December 2nd show, I think they've been pretty good. I do. Honest, I feel like they're in a good spot right now. I feel like this weekend solidified that feeling for me, is that I still think this is a team that doesn't flirt with the play-in and is a lottery team and might even finish with like one of the 5 worst records in the NBA, but I feel kind of okay about where they're at. I really do. I honest to goodness do. And some of the reason that I feel pretty good about that is because I was doing a bunch of research on kind of like the quarter pole check-in. The Blazers played 21 games and checking in about 25% of the way through the season and saying like, where is this team? And I got a bunch of interesting stats, and that's what I want to share with you tomorrow's show, kind of what we've learned about Delano Banton and Avery Simons and Scoot Henderson and DeAndre Ayton and Donovan Clingan and Rob Williams, and the whole gang, and Shaedon Sharpe and Deni, and kind of just a statistical check-in, kind of temperature check of where this group is, because I imperfect, struggling, young, all of those things are real and true, and they have things that are clearly not good at. They have things they're clearly not good at, but I kind of feel okay about where they are. And I'll share all those stats with you in tomorrow's program and talk about exactly where this group is. So come back for that show. That'll be in your feeds on Tuesday morning. Then on Tuesday evening, the Blazers will play the Clippers. We'll talk about that on Wednesday's show. That's what we do 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts, and also on YouTube. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.